What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. In the comments, I believe it was Ron McDon. He asked if I would speak on one of the big four groups, specifically the one for the blacks, right? And he said, I know you don't really like to discuss those groups and those people, and I don't. But I have spoken of one individual, and I've said his name, and the only reason why I've said his name is because he's been validated. It's no secret, right? I don't know. I haven't seen him in a very, very long time. But I was in a pod with him, and it was a man by the name of Bambari. And so I'll just speak on him, and because the guy was like, how were they, and this and so I just want to say this first of all. Shout out to Bambari. Hopefully you're still around. Hopefully you're in great health. Bambari lived upstairs from me in C4, Pelican Bay Shoe, and I spoke about how right after my Sally and I got there, I think it was the day after. Yeah, it was. I'm almost positive it was the day after we got there. They ran Canteen, and the way they do it is they bring the canteen to the pod doors, and then they pop you out, and you go out there, and they put it through the door to you, right, the handcuff port. And Bambari was the first one that they released to pick up his canteen, and so in Pelican Bay, in the shoe. Those of you that have seen the whole, not just the door, but the door and the whole front wall of the cell is steel and it's perforated. It's got little round holes so that they can see in there, right? And there's no hiding. The cops can see every part of the cell when they walk by. And the way that we greet each other is we stick our pinky into the hole, and that's your handshake. So Bambari was the first one released for Canteen. He came down the stairs, and instead of going straight to his canteen, he came to our cell and he introduced himself to my Sally and I. Told us his name was Bambari, and he said, I'll be right back. And he went and he got his canteen, and while he was bagging up his canteen, he walked over to our cell and he dropped a bag of chips in front of our cell, and then he went back to doing his canteen, and then he wound up dropping like 2 bags in front of our cell, and he said, there you guys go, man, enjoy it. And we thanked him, and like I said in the video, when he walked away, we're like, damn, this is how they get down here. And every cell that came out, whether it was northerners, whether it was whites, whether it was homies, like whoever went to get their canteen, they came, hey, Holmes, here you go, here's something for the pad, and they dropped off a bag or 2, right? So that no one in there, no one suffers, no one struggles. If we're gonna suffer, we all suffer. We're gonna struggle, we all struggle. That's the way it was in the shoe. If there's an issue and somebody's got to get an issue, then that'll happen. But we all have to sit in there and look at each other and hear each other's voices for however long we're there. They ain't going nowhere, right? And while I was there, right after that, I remember I went to the law library, and one of the legends that the Southerners are under, a very, very, very well-known one of the legends, he goes, hey, what pod are you in? We're in the law library, and he was right across from me, like not the cell directly across from me, but one over, right? The little holding cell for the law library. He said, hey, what pod are you in? And I told him, and he goes, oh, and he goes, hey, you're with that Africano Bambari, right? I said, yeah. And he said, hey, that's a really good dude, eh? We were in San Quentin together. He said, if that vato ever needs anything, make sure he gets it, all right? I said, no problem. And this is why when people get on social media and they talk about all this stuff like it's on all the time, it's on silent. This is a legend, and this is a legend that is, like I said, very, very, very well known. I'll just say he's from the Harbor area, right? And he's telling me to respect and make sure another legend from another faction from the blacks doesn't go without. If we got it, he got it. Right? So, man, the whole time I was there, I remember Bambari was really cool, really humble. And like I said in my other video when I spoke about him, they used to drink. I didn't drink, and my celly didn't drink. But everybody in the pod that drank would party, and then whoever was drinking, all of those cells had to sing a song. And I remember Bambari was drinking with everybody, and when it got to his cell, he was like, "Look, I'm not gonna be singing. I don't got a singing voice. I'm not gonna make a fool out of myself." He goes, "But I do want to say this," and he said, "Viva Mexico, puro Mexica." And this is a legend for the blacks, showing that respect and saying that, and that's how it was, man. And now I want to say for those of you wondering, when you meet someone that has made it to those levels, to where whatever faction they're from, they've made it to that status where they've become a legend. It has been my experience that 99% of the ones that I met from all the various factions were very intelligent, very articulate, and very respectful. They didn't carry themselves like, you know who the fuck I am? Because they knew you knew who the fuck they were. And real tough guys don't need to ask you that, you know who the fuck I am? They don't need to do that, because their reputation will always precede them. And they're going to treat you in a way that they want to be treated, because if you don't, breathing will no longer be a part of your functions. You'll go somewhere else, whether it's heaven or hell. That's between you and God, right? And there's so many people that get offended that I use the word legends. And it's funny to me because whatever their definition of the word legend is, they try to put that on me. I know why I say the word. And there have been a few people who I've told, why I really say it. For one, I'm being respectful, but there's also other meanings. And it's a funny thing to me that they'll tell me, man, this dude, I can't believe this dude calls other dudes legends. And I'm like, yeah, because you're applying your definition. Don't apply your definition to me. But I have been around these guys. I spent a lot of years around those guys. And I did it at a time where the only way you sat around those guys was putting in work. Not like now. Not like the last, little while where if you had a cell phone, you could get a hold of them. You didn't have to put in work. And believe me, when you were putting in work to go and meet them, they respected that. If you picked up a phone and called them and you didn't meet them through work, they don't know if you have that in you. And there's so many guys that, and then now they're on the yards. And they think because they live in a cell next to one and they can talk to one that it's funny to me. I'm not even going to get into it. That's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.